This is the Transformers Generations War for Cybetron Trilogy Siege Deluxe Class Sideswipe. Here's a look at the packaging. Very nice. And here is War for Cybetron Siege Deluxe Class Sideswipe out of packaging. And it is an amazing, amazing figure. I've never seen such an awesome G1 inspired Generations Sideswipe figure as till this point in time. This is probably the best deluxe class Sideswipe we've had, and I'm counting, including the Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe. I mean, I love that figure. I mean, a lot of people hate that figure, but that was one of my favorite Sideswipe figures ever. But in terms of G1, we've had the Universe, Transformers Universe Sideswipe, and this one just takes the cake. This is such a G1 likeness that I can't even believe it is a War for Cybetron figure, or it's a Cybertronian figure, and it's just amazing. I love it. Speaking of that old, before we talk about the figure, let's talk about that whole Universe figure. So I was like, wow, it's so amazing, and then I did this. I dug this out of one of my bins and I put them side by side, and I was like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? And I was like, not to take anything away from this figure, because when I opened it up, I was like, hey, he's got some heft to him, and it's like he's probably much bigger than this guy. And I remembered incorrectly, and this guy, look at the size discrepancies of it. I'm not criticizing this figure. I still think it's way cooler, way more awesome than this figure. It's just that 10 years ago, deluxes were this big. And amazingly, the plastic has not faded. The white plastic, some of the black plastic does have some fading, but that flake, sort of glossy metallic type of red plastic has remained true. And I love it. I love this figure. And I was thinking if I was going to get rid of it in place of this, but that's up for debate. But look at the discrepancy. But this one, between the two, I can honestly say this is the better figure in terms of G1 likeness, transformation, articulation, details, and all that. Even that head sculpt likeness. This is so much the Sideswipe we grew up with back in the 80s. And I just want to commend Hasbro for really doing some fan service with their new lines, with their Marvel Legends, trying to give us the 90s comic book characters. Now with Generations, they're giving us a whole lot of G1 goodness in updated format. So just before we get to the deluxes, this is a Titan's Return deluxe class figure. And as you can see, how deluxes have evolved. And then finally we have we'll put Optimus Prime right here. This is the War for Cybetron Siege Optimus Prime. Excuse me. There you go. Scale wise, I think it's a lot better than this one. He's just way too tall for this figure, but this one just about right. So we're talking more about the figure. He comes with his blaster. Not sure if it looks exactly like his G1 blaster. It's red. I wish it were done in silver or white, but yeah, you can put them together. You can have a longer blaster rifle, or tip it over. You can have a shoulder-mounted cannon, a longer shoulder-mounted cannon. It works fine. I'm happy with it. So onto the figure itself. Lots of details. What I'm really liking about this figure is that they kept all the car parts clean. You don't see any of these blotches, these silver sort of fall weathering on the figure, except in parts where there should be, like this one. The black plastic has been given some silver brushed. It looks like it's brushed metal because of that silver paint apps that they've put on it. It's like just brushed on silver paint, but it makes it look like that it's brushed metal. So I like that. I like that they've done that. I like that they've kept the that weathering in places where it doesn't disturb the aesthetic of the figure. Even on this part of the waist, you get to see some weathering on it. But everything else that I believe shouldn't be weathered to give this, to complete this G1 look, is in pristine condition, is immaculate. I absolutely love this sort of matte brick red type of finish on him. It's not glossy like the Universe one, but this is it. This is how we know Sideswipe. Sideswipe was much shinier. The toy was much shinier back then, but I think this one, I love this rendition. The only thing I would comment though, in terms of plastic and paint apps, oh, look at that head sculpt. Love that silver on blue on it. Would have been nice if there were light piping, but I guess light piping is too old school for Hasbro right now. But the white plastic is bordering on, it's like the enamel on your teeth. That's what I'm seeing. It has a little bit of a yellowish tint to it, and I reckon if you just keep this on the shelf exposed to sunlight and all the elements, this thing is going to fade. It's going to look ugly, and that's the only thing I can see. It feels like the plastic is like, you know, those twist tie plastics that they're made of. Yeah, it feels like they're a little bit translucent, and I think they're gonna fade. So I'm probably putting everything back in the box. The Siege boxes are just amazing, so no worries for that. I mean, I could easily pop it back in, but that's the only comment I have in terms of the plastic and aesthetics of the figure. Nice Autobot logo right there. No need for any custom work on that. Very nice. Okay, articulation for the figure. He has a hinge neck, and oh, it's a ball jointed neck. Sorry, my bad. Look at that, and the ball joint is on the bottom of the neck, not on near the head. He's got that waist swivel, also because of transformation. The shoulders are ball hinge. Go this way, this way. He's got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow, 90-degree bend. Hinge wrist, but because of transformation, no swivel. That's a shame though. I wish there was a way to put the swivel right there. Ball hinge hips. You do the splits. Yep. The knee bends this way and this way, a little bit too forward, and bends back 90 degrees. And you can hide that hinge knee with the car parts. Like that. The feet, they don't really move. Do that, but they do walker pivot, which is nice. So Sideswipe comes with this really nice instruction manual, very clear. There's nothing vague about it, and very, very helpful. Let's transform him. Put the gun, combine the weapons together, put it away. Okay, first thing you want to do, the most difficult part of the transformation are really these flaps, these sort of fall brush nettle type of flaps, and I don't tab them in place because they are a pain to remove. See, they're supposed to tab in this way, both in car mode and robot mode, and they are just ridiculously difficult to unpeg, and I might have to do that in car mode so you can roll freely, but just fair warning, just be careful with that. And I'm glad Hasbro has made it thicker so you have no breakage over time, it doesn't get brittle and all that, but it's just one of those pegs of doom that you just have to be, you know, tenacious about it in transforming this figure. Okay, so let's get right to transform Sideswipe. First thing you want to do, you want to lift up this chest piece that will form the front part of the Lamborghini Countach. Fold this up like that. Make sure the head is tucked in back there. Then fold it back down in. Make sure it's flush so it doesn't scrape the floor when he's rolling. So look at that. Okay. Next thing you want to do, why don't we do the arms first? Okay, fold the fists this way, bend the arms this way, fold it out like this, fold this one out like that. Make sure you tab in that door there. That helps. The instructions don't tell you to do that, but that helps a lot when you're folding it in. So just fold it in nicely like this, and it should stay right there. Okay, and that's half of the card done. Okay, so again, those immensely tight pegs go like that. Okay, make sure that back of the knee flaps, they're all the way flush like that. And then fold the feet up like this. Go ahead and rotate the waist like that. You join the feet together. It is a flared peg. Just want to clip on that, clip the pieces like that. Instead of just forcing the peg inside, you just want to do it this way. That's easier. Okay, and all that is left is for you to rotate like that. Maybe I shouldn't have done the arms first, but who cares? So, okay. All right, and then go ahead and fold these together right there. Now, let's just put it all in together so you can see how flush that tab is, that whole those panels are, and there you go. There is Sideswipe and his Lamborghini Countach alt mode, looking absolutely fantastic. And then this one, the gun, obviously you can put it there or here so you don't break the silhouette, and it looks phenomenal. I love it. This is as close to a G1 Sideswipe we're gonna get for the Deluxe class in the Generations line. For size comparisons, here he is with United Tracks, and a Titan's Return alt mode figure. This is Chrome Dome. You can see he's still much smaller. And just for fun, here is the Masterpiece Sideswipe. It's a G1 Countach it was inspired from. No spoiler, I'm fine with it, totally fine with it. And again, just for fun, here is a Hot Wheels Lamborghini Countach. So this is as good as it gets. I mean, look at that. So final thoughts on the figure. I think it's a no-brainer. I think you have to get it. It's probably one of the figures in the first wave that you absolutely must have, especially if you're a big fan of the G1 Transformers. If you loved Sideswipe back in the day, definitely. And Sideswipe's not your favorite Autobot, given that, but you love the Generations line. This is just too good of a figure to pass up. I'm going to give this figure a 10 out of 10. He comes 2 per case. You're not going to have a difficult time tracking him down. I picked up this figure, by the way, at R Toys, a local hobby shop of mine out here in Manila, and I'm just loving every bit of it. So, hope you've enjoyed this little video review. This has been the Transformers Generations War for Cybetron Trilogy Siege Deluxe Class Sideswipe. Thanks for watching.